My dreams are getting more lucid or more, I'm having better ones, more vivid ones. I think when I was a kid, I used to be able to control them. When I was 8, I used to be able to change them. Can't do that anymore. I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it again someday. But God gave me a dream. Celestial Star family, my divine support, and I'm very grateful for because they've been working on me energetically and it manifested in my dream in an inner child healing way that I needed, that I didn't realize. And so I'm sharing it right now. I'm not even, I'm just, sharing it and coming to, or sharing my thoughts on what it meant and how it's helped me already. In the dream, it was like Thanksgiving, and it kind of was like skipping. It was in two different environments, but the same premise. It was when I was young. Yeah, because I was like young, but had my adult mind at the same time. But in one of the scenarios, I had like run away when I was like really young on Thanksgiving, um, because I had no one, and so I didn't really run away then. I guess I just went somewhere, and it was like a RV. It was like on the other side of town here, and I had stuff, and then I brought in the RV, and I just camped out in the RV and stayed there. Um, yeah, and, but in the other part of it, it was here at my house that I grew up in, and uh, it was weird because there was dog shit on the floor, and it was really dark. Like when I was a kid, like I had to be quiet when I was a kid, and I had to not make any noise and stuff like that because my mom was always sleeping, and I wasn't supposed to make noise. I wasn't supposed to make any signs of life. Um, and but on Thanksgiving, it was like, and we didn't have a lot of Thanksgivings or Christmases or anything when I was growing up. It didn't. They didn't happen. They didn't exist. Really, I sometimes, but not memory. I don't have good memories growing up. Anyway, but Mr. Bennett, which was an authority figure in my life growing up, and he was the principal at one point, the elementary principal when my son was going up to this, or was going to school up here, and he was a coach when I was for elementary, and a PE teacher when I was in school, and but he had like volunteered, like this didn't actually occur. This was just my dream. Um, but I mean, like that did. I mean, he was actually coaching all that kind of stuff at school here growing up. But I must have been like in first grade, and it was really dark in here in my house. Like the blinds were all closed, the curtains were closed, like it was when I was growing up. There was dog shit on the floor, everything was a mess. My mom was sleeping in the bedroom, like she did till the afternoon or evening, like she does. And um, but Mr. Bennett didn't know she was here. He had come over kind of like to like sponsor me because I had no one, so he thought they just like had paired him with me, and he came over to hang out with me, and he wanted to go hang out with his family, I could tell, but he wasn't being mean to me about it or anything. He signed up to hang out with me so I wouldn't be alone. And so, and he didn't realize that my mom was home, and then she'd gotten up and went to the bathroom, and she was all dark, and like it was really weird, like she was when I was growing up, like just not, she didn't say hi. She wasn't nice. Um, and she just waddled into the bathroom, and then, and but Mr. Bennett looks at me because he'd been here a couple hours, and he looks at me and he's like, "Your mom's here," and I was like, "Mm-hmm," and I was like 6 or in first grade, and he's like, "Well, I didn't know." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna go then because I got my family waiting on me, so I'm gonna go." And I gave him this really big hug, and I get to, in my dream even, and I said, "Thank you so much for coming and being with me." And he hugged me back, and he meant it, and I could feel it in the dream, and I cried, and he even cried, and he was like, "It's no problem at all." And he didn't realize how much it meant to me that he had done that. And then but he could tell after I hugged him that it did, but he still didn't realize the gravity of how much it meant that he was there for me. even though my mom was in her room, and I, but what, but she wasn't emotionally available at all for me when I growing up. So that's what I mean. This is a dream, and it's just cool how my inner child healing is. It's my guides and my angels and everything gave me this dream to help me see. I can, because I can see it, what I need to, how I needed it. Really bad. Honestly, because that's, I mean, when I was that young, that's when those things happened to me. That's when it yeah, that's what my life was like. And I didn't, and that's what I mean. Like, in the other part of the dream, I had run away and I was just on my own, and I was like 6, and I didn't have anyone, and no one was looking for me or anything. But the weird thing was, people were watching me, but I couldn't see them. That was in the dream. It wasn't like a paranoid thing because I was like young, but like they knew I was there, but they didn't. It wasn't like out of care. It was like out of like, what do we want to know what you're doing all the time type deal. and and then I think, what is it, Mr. Bennett found me at the RV place too, or in the RV, and was like, "Okay, it's time for you to go home now." And I was like, "Okay," and I just went home. It was a weird. It was weird, but to look at it from a psychological standpoint, you know what I mean? Like, it showed me a lot, and it showed me where my inner child, my little child, the little me, was still hurting. And then it shows me how I try and run away from that pain by blaming, and I, like I said in my last video, I don't, you can't blame anything. It doesn't help. But that's what, like, when I woke up, my guides were like, "Yeah, but why are you blaming in the first place is what you need to get down to. Why is it that you feel like you need to blame? Why do you want to blame? Like, why do you want anyone when you're hurting, when you're angry, when you're sad? What is it that makes you want to?" And that's why that dream was given to me. It's because I was hurt, and I wasn't looked after, and I wasn't cared for. No one, and I was, and even the opposite. Like, I was, like, my mom blamed me. My mom, she instead of being a caretaker, it was her own unhealedness she projected onto me. And I never understood it. I remember that sort of in the dream. I wasn't mad at her in the dream either. She was just there, and the way that she was, even like how she was when I was growing up. It was more focused on me being a loving kid and not having anyone. But there were people that did care. I just didn't know, and that there's still good people out there, there's no good or bad. Like I said, there really isn't. There's unhealed and there's healed, is what it is. And that's what the unhealed is, what makes us blame and run away and point and our fingers in the direction, and someone in another direction that isn't actually true. It doesn't help to do. And for ourselves, it really doesn't. That's why we have to get down to the root of why we blame, or why we want to run away, or put our problems on other things. And that's what it was. It was because when I was a little kid, I was alone, and I didn't have anyone, and my little kid still hurt from that. It hasn't had any validation. Of course, I thought I did. I thought I addressed it, but not enough. There was still stuff in there. There's still a lot in there, especially being in the same conditions that created that wounding in the first place hasn't helped me be able to heal from that wound. And so, and it not being acknowledged either, and just, my mom wants to try and pretend like it never happened, or it never existed, when it did, and it really affected me and traumatized me as a child. And I mean, which affects us as adults wholeheartedly. That's why she is the way that she is and has been toward me, is because she was traumatized and wounded as a child, and she learned to project it on other people. And well, to me specifically, it wasn't, other people too in other ways, but I mean, like, covert narcissists, it was always just me, like, just raw, just, I mean, mean and vicious stuff, and I took it on personally for a long time. I thought I was what was being projected onto me when I wasn't, and I had to figure that out. But there was still some healing in me that needed to be done. And it's good though, because like at the same time, that's what I mean. It isn't about placing blame. The healing isn't about placing blame. It's about getting to the root of why you want to blame in the first place. And so you don't have to blame, so you can heal that and overcome it, and then you don't have to feel like you need to blame anyone or to project or to point your fingers or run away, or then you overcome it and it's not there anymore. And that's why I forgive my mother, and I actually feel sorry for her, that she feels the need that she has to do that she felt the need that she had to do that to me, especially I was innocent. I've been innocent and I never deserved it. I didn't. But I'm not going to be mad about it because that's not going to help. And now I know why. And like I said, now I just forgive. Now I'm just going to forgive because that's what it is. It's an out of an unhealed place, and I know because I've been in an unhealed place too. Like I know how that is, and I know how wrong that can go. Though I see how wrong that can go and how that only creates more problems. And I don't want that. That's not going to help anything. It's not going to help me, and it's not going to help anyone. And so I knew that much, but I wasn't getting down to the root of it. And so I'm really grateful to God and to my guides and to my angels and to all the higher energetic help that has helped me with this, because I was holding on to it energetically, and it was not allowing other things to come into my life that are good for me, because I was holding on to the unhealed still part of me. That the anger and the thing that made me want to blame and to point my finger and to run away. And now I know. And I'm sure there's still more. The healing journey really is like, it's continuous. But that's what I mean. And I'm tricky. I was tricky to myself. I thought I'd spaced a lot of my stuff, and I had all this. I knew that I hadn't somewhere deep in me. And that's your cues. That's your triggers. Is when you're angry and when you're sad and when you want to blame. Those are your triggers to know that there's something within you that's not healed. It isn't anyone's fault. It isn't anyone else's fault. It's not even your fault. You just got to figure out what it is so you can get to the root of it. You can fix it, and then it isn't a problem anymore for you or anyone else. And so I am really grateful for that dream, because I was able to let that go. I was able to see it for what it is and let it go. I'm not done. I can still feel it, and like I said, I'm in the midst of it still. I'm still living with the same person that created this wounding within me. So it's hard to heal from that when you're in the same situation, and the situation's still trying to be the same thing. It's hard to heal from that. But that's why, like, my guides have been trying to show me, and my angels have been trying to show me what it is that's keeping me stuck here. And they did. So I'm really grateful for that. Really, really grateful. Thank you.